If it is or if it ain't, it's going to come out. Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you are listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspirational juice. It is June the 8th, 2022, and today the topic is God will provide. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. I hope that you guys had a great Tuesday. Mine was just fine. Those of you all that follow me on social media, you already know what I had going on yesterday. Shout out to Miss Karen for inviting yours truly to come speak to the young women at the summer camp that she's hosting. I believe that the oldest young lady that was there was like 15, something like that. And so, a good age range actually to talk to young women that middle school age. Like I was telling them yesterday, I was like, I kind of had already, not say figured out everything, but I kind of knew what I wanted to do, for example, career-wise, when I got into sixth grade, and that's the beginning of middle school. So, I hope that the things that I shared with them yesterday encourages them and inspires them. I know that a couple of them had a few questions for me. The rest of them kind of seemed to be just listening and whatnot, filling me out probably, and everything like that. But I'm thankful, man. I'm thankful for this opportunity. My first speaking engagement, you know what I'm saying? So thank God for that. Thank you to the ones that supported online and had kind things to say about the photos as well as the post that I made after I did the juice. I made a post, acknowledging that this is the day I did my first speaking engagement, because again, if Facebook is good for anything, man, it's good for keeping up with your memories. So, um, honestly, again, I post these things for me, but again, if they encourage and inspire other people in the process, then hey, I'm thankful for that. And again, I appreciate those that responded, and everything like that. So that's pretty much what happened yesterday. Little man with me, he did pretty good. He didn't sit down the whole time, but I mean, he did do pretty good. Um, Granted, I don't know if I need to like invest in the portable hotspots or whatever the case is because, um, yeah, the signal and Wi-Fi was not really great where we went. Um, so, for example, I knew that if I had given him his earphones and a device to watch, but because the Wi-Fi wasn't really working, we couldn't really use the app for him to watch, a show or something, and so. He was kind of working on the little homework app at some point, but obviously he's going to get distracted by all these ladies in the room and stuff like that. And so, and they was getting distracted by him at some point as well. So, kids will be kids, as they say. But for the most part, it was cool because I had a moment to actually talk to them about motherhood and whatnot as well. I didn't go too deep into it, but I just was like, hey, hey, you see me traveling with my son right now? Do you think you'll be able to, do that at your age that you're at now? Things like that. So, hey, let this be encouragement for you to, not go there, X, Y, and Z, things like that. There's a lot of little things that I talked to them about. But, yeah, again, I hope overall, if nothing else, that it was encouraging and inspiring to them one way or another and that they think about the things I shared throughout the rest of their lives and makes decisions, accordingly and whatnot. And that's that. I mean, I could probably go on and on about it. Well, one thing, let me tell you guys, man, I tried to film. I tried to film the speaking portion, and come to find out, I guess I didn't press the button on the device that I was recording on. So by the time I did press it, I ended up recording the chat that I had with them afterwards when I sat down and was just kind of showing them some clips from different movies I've been in and just stuff like that. And I was like, man, so that means that my footage probably would have been really good because the footage was pretty good for that moment. So I was like, my other footage of me speaking probably would have been really good too if I had to just press the button. I said, man, I might need to just hire a camera crew to just follow me next time. Um, because again, I'm sure it was just a combination of things. I came in, I was setting up my own stuff. And then, of course, I had little man, so I was getting him settled. And you know what I mean? So there's a combination of things that probably led up to me not being able to, or not recording. But, oh well, man. Oh well. So yeah, that's pretty much what happened yesterday. After that, I mean, on the way home, grabbed something to eat. By the time I got home, I settled down to eat and I took a good old nap. And that's pretty much like what my day looked like yesterday. Oh, I did have a couple of conversations yesterday, and I want to give a shout out to my sister, man. Let's keep her in prayer. I feel like she's really in this transition period that, God is moving in her life and, I think pushing her right to a certain direction and whatnot. And so let's keep her in prayer as she goes through that. But, I was glad to be able to speak to her yesterday and I guess be some encouragement for her. I know she gave me a shout out on social media and whatnot about that. So, man, and I guess it's good to have that can I say the word this morning? This recognition. Recognition every now and then, for just things you just do just to hopefully encourage and help people. But it's good when they receive it. And so yeah, so shout out to you, sis. You know what I'm saying? Y'all be on the lookout, man. Anchor Phlebotomy is doing amazing things. And I know they're gonna continue to do amazing things. And I hope that she, if nothing else from our conversation yesterday, I hope that she understands that, yeah, you have support, sis. At the end of the day, not only your family and friends support you, but God does, right? And so that pretty much leads me to this topic today of God will provide. Because, yeah, I did my prayer meditation and it was good and everything like that. I don't really remember what it was about to share that part with you guys, but eventually, yeah, this phrase "God will provide" came into my heart and mind sometime after I did prayer meditation and I was working on something else, and then eventually God will provide came into my mind. So here are the verses that I feel led to share this morning, and I'm going to start with Philippians 4:19. It says, "And my God will supply every need of yours according to His riches and glory in Christ Jesus." So yeah, if you are a believer, right, you say you believe in Christ and everything like that, and you come across verses like this, the question is, do you believe this, friends? And at the end of the day, I'm crazy enough to believe it. And at the end of the day, I see God work in my life miraculously, and I'm thankful for it. And so I hope that encourages and inspires, those of you. I can't, again, people have the testimonies and blessings of buku money and all this stuff, and that's beautiful for them. I can't say that I've had that particular testimony at the moment, but I can say that I've had the testimony where, hey, I've been able to do what I need to do. I've been able to do things I wanted to do, and yeah, I've had my needs met, and again, even some of my wants. And so, at the end of the day, what more can I? Not saying what more can I ask for, but like, I have to be grateful and thankful for that. I have to, see what God is doing in my life and be appreciative of that, and not do the comparison game, not do the whole, Now, don't get me wrong. I've seen some things over the past few weeks, or actually the past few days, where I see these people giving away so much money to people, or being able to bless people with houses, or all these beautiful things where you're like, man, I would love to be able to do things like that to, that God blesses me so I can be able to bless other people in that type of way, right? I would love to be able to buy my mom a house or a car or something like that, and it not be it not say it not affect me, but yeah, like it doesn't hurt me or my family financially or something like that. Or I would love to be able to you know help other entrepreneurs or whoever, you know what I mean, to be able to help and bless people in that way. Um, but at the same time too, I again, if I can be an encouraging word, or give an encouraging word, or something like that, that's still as valuable. If I can help somebody, uh birth their dreams, or, walk in their purpose, or be encouraged and inspired to go for their passions and go for the things that God has created them to do, that's still just as valuable, And so, yeah, at the end of the day, um, that's what's coming to my heart and mind and stuff like that at this time. And, but regardless, man, God will provide. His word says that he will. I believe that he proves it every day. Um, you know, whether we acknowledge it or not, that's the thing. We may not acknowledge it. We may not see it, because if we don't acknowledge it, then we don't see it, and then we don't appreciate it. But if you start to acknowledge it, right, or you start to seek ways that he's moving in your life, then you'll see, and then hopefully that'll help you appreciate it. Again, I talk to you guys about 2019 all the time for me. I talk to you guys about 2020 for me. And again, I can say that God has done this my entire life, but I just happened to be documenting it at that time. I happened to be documenting like what was going on in 2019 for me. Same with 2020, and even now, by doing this and doing the juice and being as consistent as I've been, these things are kind of like documentations of me sharing my testimonies every day, to a certain extent. And so, I've been able to see God moving because I've acknowledged it and took out the time to recognize that, hey, okay, I understand that I did not do this right, but somehow it's still being done. And at the end of the day, I believe that's God. Now, yeah, there's things in place and there's different things that have blessed along the way, right? Some other people might look at stimulus, right, for example, and they're like, oh, stimulus wasn't a blessing. Maybe. But for me, stimulus was a huge blessing. It probably was so much of a blessing where eventually, I know certain things they were doing here in Georgia, all of a sudden, or I say all of a sudden, got blocked, at least for me. And that was very interesting, because I just was like, y'all saw what fruit came from 2021, for example. Like 2021, I had already published like what, 5 books, so who knows if I had still been getting assistance and whatnot the way I was getting before, where things would be and stuff. And again, 5 books, the talk show, the daily inspiration, we're working on a movie now, all these different things were like birthed and are flourishing from the seed of stepping out on faith and saying, hey, I'm going to do daily inspiration. You know what I mean? And then, yeah, during that time, I was receiving stimulus, or I was just receiving some type of assistance and things like that. So eventually, not to say that it dried up, but it dried up for me. Not say quickly, but it seemed like it started to be like, okay, this girl out here flourishing, this girl out here doing things for God. Let's and not saying it all was centered around me, man, but I'm just saying, like, I had to think about from my own life. And so sometimes it just feels like that, where it's like, the enemy sees that, I'm going to use funds to build the kingdom, right? And then all of a sudden those funds are no longer available to me or whatnot. But that's all good, because at the end of the day, again, God has provided outside of those funds. God has, still allowed me to be able to keep things going, and I would say grow as well. Because when I'm able to build a team and pay other people, then that's a huge blessing, especially for somebody that's not working. That's how people probably look at me in my situation. They're like, oh, you're not working, so how are you able to do X, Y, and Z? Well, I would say that's God. And hopefully that can be encouraging and inspiring to you this morning. Let me keep going, because there's a few more verses I feel led to share. Matthew 6:33 says, but seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. I mean, y'all know this verse, this isn't anything new, especially the Bible believers and Bible readers. But this is the challenge, man, to seek God first, to put God's will above your own, right? Again, I don't know where I would be right now if I hadn't been like, you know what, I'm going to take time for daily Bible study, and I'm going to get up and do daily inspiration. Where would I be? You know what I mean? I wouldn't be talking to you guys. Whoever's listening to the sound of my voice would not be hearing it right now. I wouldn't have met the amazing people that I've met over the past couple of years. I wouldn't have had these amazing conversations. I wouldn't have the international dream team. I wouldn't have a movie. I wouldn't have books. Probably not when I did and how I did. So I'm just saying, at the end of the day, you don't know what you're holding up by not doing the will of God. So it behooves us to do the will of God, in my little humble opinion. But yeah, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Proverbs 10:3. It says, "The Lord does not let the righteous go hungry, but he thwarts the craving of the wicked." So, yeah, again, like I can boldly say to my sister, for example, sis, at the end of the day, God will provide for you. Yes, it might be difficult to step out on faith and, for example, work her business full time, right? It might be difficult to do that. She is a single mother, you know what I'm saying? She is you know, a business. Well, she owns a couple of businesses, and but technically she's working like 3 jobs at one time. You know what I mean? And it's taking a toll on her and everything like that. And at the end of the day, it may be quote unquote scary, right, to step out on faith and allow God to move and everything like that. But if we're going to be believers, then we're going to have to trust that God is going to do what his word says. And this word said, even in the first verse, it says that my God will supply every need of yours according to his riches and glory. The most recent verse that I just shared is that the Lord does not let the righteous go hungry. At the end of the day, she has to believe those words, right? We all have to believe that those are going to ring true. Throughout this entire pandemic, without me working the way I used to work and all that stuff, we've still been eating, we've still been thriving, the Lord has still been providing, we've still had electricity, we've still had everything that we've had before, back when I was working and stuff. And again, yes, my husband has been blessed, he's been working the whole time and everything like that. However, he was in a transition moment as well, from one job to another, and everything. And so there was a lot of things, a lot of factors that could have changed our life and lifestyle, right? But nothing has changed outside of growth, right? Again, now granted, our son was born before things kicked off with the pandemic, for example. But yeah, our family has grown, our household has grown in regards to a lot of different things, and so, yeah, man, let's not be discouraged. Let's understand that at the end of the day, we are not alone. Um, I believe that my sister has a strong support system. I think she knows that. But at the same time, we can both be pretty independent, right? Like, I know a lot of times I don't know. I tend to focus more on what I can personally do, and I don't ask for a lot of help or anything either. And so I guess in that aspect, it's like, but I also feel like God has just kind of put me in positions where I've had to kind of humble myself, right, and accept help, right, and things like that, and it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing to do so, and so every now and then it's okay to allow other people to help you, right? It's okay to allow God to do what He wants to do with you, for you, and through you. So. Again, I understand that it can be difficult, a difficult decision and stuff like that, but we just got to believe what the words say. We got to believe what the word says. Another verse to share this morning is Philippians 4:6. It says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God." At the end of the day, I think I told you guys numerous times about different things that I've requested of God, or that I've even just mental notes or mental prayers, and that God has done above and beyond. I told you guys about, I can't remember when it was, but it was in the midst of the pandemic when I was like, man, I need to get some groceries. And the next thing I know, we was like overflowing with groceries. So much so where I was trying to give some away and everything like that, And so, yeah, I mean, why would we not think that making that request to God wouldn't be fulfilled? Why do we think that God wouldn't give us, good things? We see wicked people get great good things. Why do we feel like as believers that we won't receive the same or more? as followers of Christ. I mean, I know somebody actually reminded me of that as well, fairly recently. Actually, two people reminded me of that. That, maybe I'm shortchanging myself in ways. Maybe I'm not charging enough for my services. Maybe, I need to put more value into myself and the gifts that God has given me, and everything. So, yeah, I mean, these are just things to think about. But at the end of the day, the ultimate, I would say, I guess, message or just reminder for all of us, myself included, is that God will provide. And I mean, that's the juice. That's the juice. I mean, there's plenty of other verses and whatnot to look at in the Go Deeper section to peruse and let marinate on your heart, souls, and minds. Especially if you're in a down season and you feel as if, man, this girl is talking about God will provide. Well, take a look at those verses in the Go Deeper section, and make those things your prayer, and understand that these are things that God can and will do for you, if you are willing to receive it. The Bible verse of today is 1 Peter 5:6. It says, "Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, that He may exalt you in due time." Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. Hello everyone, it's your girl Miracle Sims, and you already know that your girl is now an author, and my very first publication is none other than a creation inspired by the juice. That's right, friends, you can go on Amazon.com and find the juice 30-day Bible study journal. And this, friends, I hope and pray will help you create your own Bible study experience similar to the one that your girl here shares with you every day here on God, Sex, and Love.